Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I hope you will join me in attempting to hunt Brothers, the market in Bismuth this July 18 of 2023. There's a specific reason for that date. I'll get to it in a second. And I'm starting to feel really hopeful that this one is going to stick because it's an important anniversary. I have a lot of connection to this event, so I'll talk about that in a second. So one of the uses of bismuth, when it's not being used to make art like this, is a nuclear reaction to turn it into polonium-210, which is used in, it was used in the nuclear weapons at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was used by Putin to execute quite a few spies. Kind of interesting that Russia would use a Polish poison, right? That's just how the world works, I guess. You know, when I first heard about the situation in 2006, I think, when Putin had executed the spy, I was curious about what the Russians call polonium. I just could not imagine them naming an element after one of their adversaries. To my surprise, they actually do call it polonium. It's kind of like space exploration, right? We can put aside conflict to do science, right? It's just weird. But anyway, so July 18th of 1898 was when polonium was first discovered. Now, of course, it wasn't made from this. It was discovered natively in the Earth's crust. I don't think we make polonium in that way, at least not intentionally, anymore these days. It's so much cheaper to start from this stuff, right? But let me tell you why I recently got seriously involved in trying to buy and hunt Brothers bismuth again. In fact, I've been hesitating on selling some of my art because I want to accumulate as much bismuth as I can. I've only been selling it to the extent of getting money to acquire more bismuth, right? I had frustrations in my everyday life, not so much at work anymore, but with all the stuff that surrounds being accepted for who I am. So this past month, I found that I was accepted so much more when I had a date. We had a orientation event at my new work, and I brought a date there, and I got so much more acceptance. And so I started dating again, but I quickly discovered dating is quite a bit more expensive than I had hoped. Without a partner, I can go out to eat 3 times a week. I can go bowling once a week. I can't do that with a partner. And also it compromises my routine, right? I talked about last month how after I quit my job, I was sleeping well again. I was eating well again. I can't seem to balance that with dating. But at the same time, I really need the acceptance at my job. Now, I learned from my last job to set hard boundaries. I had a colleague who was always asking me to fill in odd hours, and then I would bring exotic food to the office, and my colleagues would want to try some, and then I ended up sharing most of my food with her, and I love doing that. I can't afford it. Let's put it that way. I really don't despise even at my last job that I keep complaining about how I had to give up most of my vacation time to my colleague to tend to her cousin. Unfortunately, her cousin passed away. I had another colleague who had maternity issues. I really like being able to take care of her newborn daughter. I really do. She's now 4 years old. I just can't afford it. And also, I had to submit a paper to a conference, which was very important to my career. And unfortunately, the reviewers are talking to me, and it looks like I'm going to have to go to New York, a trip I can scarcely afford in light of work-life balance issues. I really would like to be taking a trip to Mary Curry's birthplace instead. But instead, I have to go to this conference in New York, and as a result, it's making me wish that I would hit it big with something. If I wake up tomorrow and this stuff is worth $2,000 an ounce, I'm skipping the conference. I wouldn't care about my career anymore, right? If I wake up tomorrow and I hit it big with bismuth, I might. Next time my colleague wants to try new foods, it's great. I have new peers to enjoy my healthy food with. A lot of times, eating healthy is otherwise a pretty lonely experience, right? I often dream things that later happen in real life. And my favorite example was I was 8 years old. I dreamt that my family and I were racing on the highway we needed to go to the bathroom really badly. Our eyes were peeled looking for a bathroom on the highway. And we ran into a Kmart. This was before Walmart was big, and we all raced into the bathroom. I woke up, I think I may have even wet my pants. That may have been why I dreamt such a weird, contrived situation. A couple days later, my family and I were on the road, and we all needed to use the bathroom, and I look up, let's go to that Kmart over there. I said it without even thinking about it. It was only after I said Kmart that I realized, oh my God, I dreamt this 3 days ago. Now, I also remember, I almost forgot about this dream until very recently. I was in 6th grade at the time. My mom had taken me to her safety deposit box and shown me a gold bar that her grandfather had left her. And at the time, gold was really cheap. And she was explaining to me the folly of falling in love with something, and then later on it's like garbage, right? At the time, I had just, I was in 6th grade. I was experimenting with with new friends, and obviously I didn't get along with my peers at school. And my mom used the example of the gold bar as like, don't get too attached to stuff. And obviously the timing, right? This was in the late 90s that we're talking about. And I thought, gee, this is a great time to buy even more gold. I think that's what I told my mom, and she laughed at me. Well, a couple weeks later, I dreamt that now I was in my 30s or 40s, and this other gold-like material, I couldn't identify what it was in my dream, was now worth a fortune. I had a bunch of it. At the time, I thought the stuff in my dreams was silver. And I've come to realize it might not have been after all. Because I remember it being a very unusual metal, not something that was malleable like gold. And in any case, if I hit it big, I promise I'll take another vacation, and I'll share my stuff with my coworkers without burning bridges anymore. I'll definitely give my colleague who has maternity leave issues all my vacation, except I can't do it where I work now. But when I thought about it, I really don't despise any of that.